Endometriosis is a condition that impacts roughly 190 million women around the world. And despite that number, not many people are aware of this disease. It's often difficult to diagnose, and so leading to many women suffering from it for years without even knowing they're affected. So we have Ratelle here. She's going to share her story and what she's doing to help educate more people. So we want to welcome you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, so we're talking about endometriosis. I feel like we've heard that word. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, big word. I like to abbreviate it as endo. It's a little bit easier. But endometriosis, or endo, is the condition where tissue similar to the uterine lining grows outside the uterus, and it can pretty much grow anywhere.
Hold on.
I know. Hold on a minute.
Hold on. Okay, so you're telling me, because when we talk about this, we're talking about the women's cycle, and obviously we have a monthly friend that comes to visit, if we want to call it a friend, but you're saying that because it's not the lining, but it spreads through your body?
It does. It can. If you have endo, it can spread anywhere, and it continues to grow.
Oh, and that's why, so basically, it's very painful.
It's so painful, and there's a multitude of ways that it presents itself in each person, each case.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of different symptoms.
Sure. So tell me about your story and how you're connected to all this.
Yeah, so a year ago, I was officially diagnosed with stage 3 to 4 endo through laparoscopic excision surgery, and I had been suffering with some pretty bad symptoms for about 8 years.
When you say bad symptoms, can you share?
Yeah, of course. So for me, it was the notorious painful period cramps, but also painful ovulation, painful bowel movements, chronic nausea, bloating, and full body fatigue.
And for a long time, you said 8 years.
Yeah.
People, what did they just, did doctors just call it, you're just having bad symptoms
You're
of
just
the
a
period?
woman.
Oh.
Yep, you're just a woman. Yep, exactly. And kind of just brushed you off to the side, dismissed your whole situation and scenario. And unfortunately, the sad reality is that that's not just my story. That is the story of most women.
Sure. Okay, so you get diagnosed with endo.
Yes.
And then now what?
It's kind of a difficult journey because there isn't a lot of resources, or education rather, out there for those going through endo and related health conditions. So for me, I had a laparoscopic excision surgery, and then after that it was constant doctor's visits, acupuncture, and things like that. But it is a work in progress.
So there's no real, the treatment, like you're saying, it's because there's not a whole lot of study on it? Is that what you're saying? So there's not a whole lot of treatment?
Not a lot of treatment. There's no cure, and even diagnosis. I mean, it takes 8 years to get diagnosed. It's just not talked about enough.
Goodness.
I know.
So you talk about these symptoms, and let's say there are women who are listening to this and they're like, wait a second, I can relate.
Yeah.
I've also been told, oh, you're just having a bad month.
Right.
What do they do?
I would say to continue to raise your voice and fight for the advocacy and the care that you deserve. Unfortunately, doctors and a lot of professionals and even peers want to push that aside and not take you seriously and kind of write you off as just being a woman, like we said. But don't listen to that. You know what you deserve, and strive for that. Okay,
so what is Raise Your Vibe?
Raise Your Vibe is the organization that I started a few years ago in response to my journey with endometriosis and other related health conditions.
Okay, and this is just, and it's just to educate and bring awareness to the issue.
Yes, I would love for Raise Your Vibe to serve as a safe space for women navigating endo and just their health journey in general, and to kind of boost the momentum of rewriting the narrative of women's health.
I'm not sure if you would know, but let's say it goes untreated. Say you just have lived your life and you've had this forever. Does it lead to more health complications in the future?
It certainly does. So for me, it took 8 years, and I'd like to think that if I had been diagnosed sooner, then it wouldn't be quite as bad, because it does continue to grow and worsen with each period and each shedding of the uterus lining.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I feel like I can sit here with you for another hour to talk about this. Right. Rachel, this is very informative. And we're just literally scratching the surface. So here's the deal. If you have been listening and you want more information on Raise Your Vibe or anything endo related, we'll make sure we have that link on our website for you on fox5sandiego.com. And then maybe you can read more on Rachel's story and get the proper help that you might need. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for letting me share my story.